Hey guys, welcome to Damn Fam. My name is Alexis.
And I'm Dylan.
And today we are going to be sharing our daughter's story with you of Hirschsprung's disease.
So, the medical definition of Hirschsprung's disease is a condition of the large intestine, colon, that causes difficulty passing stool. Hirschsprung's disease involves missing nerve cells in the muscles or part or all of the large intestine present at birth that causes difficulty passing stool. Long story short, she's missing nerve cells in the ending of her long intestine to where it doesn't open up. So basically, she tries to poop, but nothing opens up and nothing comes out.
So we want to kind of just share her full journey and story, and I did want to start off by saying that our baby girl is fully recovered, perfectly healthy baby girl. Everything went amazing, and I did want to say that her surgeon was just the best surgeon at CHOC, which is Children's Hospital of Orange County. Dr. Galizadeh. She was amazing. Everything went perfect, and we'll get a little bit more into detail when we talk about that. But so just kind of jump right in and how we found out that she had Hirschsprung's. So our daughter was born January 9th, 2021. So she is now about to be 5 months old. Healthy, beautiful baby girl. Everything checked out. She weighed 8 pounds, 6 ounces, 21 inches long. She's just, everything
big, healthy baby.
Yeah, she was awesome. Everything was going good. She latched on good. She was eating, resting. We were resting. We got to eat because, I had a 26-hour labor, and that'll be a whole nother video. But so basically around, I want to say it was around 9 o'clock at night, the night that she was born. After she was eating, she kept vomiting like green stuff, and at the time we didn't know what it was, but it turns out it was like green bile.
Yeah, and it wasn't like spit up. It wasn't chunky.
No, she was like,
it was straight liquid.
And it was green, like greenish yellow. And so we brought it to the nurse's attention. We're like, I don't think that this is normal. And then one of the nurses had said like, oh, I think it's just normal because, she still has all these fluids. She could have all these fluids in her mouth still from like being born. And she continued to do it, and so we brought it to the next shift nurse's attention, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna ask the pediatrician to, the pediatric, whoever was there for pediatrics, to come and take a look at her. And so they came and they did an x-ray on her because her belly was super swollen, and she hadn't passed her first stool in the 24 hours, and then plus vomiting all that green bile, and then her belly being super swollen. So that is when we found out that, well, actually we didn't find out exactly what the diagnosis was.
He gave us an idea.
Yeah, he told us that he thought that it could be Hirschsprung's disease, and we were just so confused and never heard of it before.
So he basically just like explained it to us, and like he couldn't even tell us for sure that that's what it was. He just said that all the signs point to this. I can't tell you that this is what it is, but so basically he just said like he thought the best thing for her was to go over to CHOC.
Gave birth. So
I would say like this was like the middle of COVID too, like right when it like hit its peak before it started dying down. I feel like too.
Yeah, it was still
January,
pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was still going. There's still like so many cases, and so we had COVID when I gave birth, so it made it that much worse. So basically they came and told us like we need to take her right away to CHOC. We need to get her started on fluids, and they just basically told us like we have to take her now. So I was like, okay, you go with her because obviously I just gave birth. I needed to stay in the hospital another 24 hours because I don't want her to be alone. And they were like, yeah, no, he can't come with us because you guys have COVID and could potentially expose other babies in the NICU to COVID, which at the time we thought was ridiculous because they're taking our baby from us.
Right.
And like we wanted to be with her, didn't want her to be alone. But then we think back at it, and it was probably the best thing because we were COVID positive, and
we didn't want to spread it to anyone else. We wouldn't
especially
want to
in the NICU. And so since we did have COVID, they wouldn't let us go in to see her until we either got a negative test or it has been 14 days since we had been exposed to it. She was in the NICU for 11 days, and the first 4 days neither of us could go see her because we had COVID. We couldn't get a COVID test. We were waiting obviously a few days to get a COVID test to know for sure that we didn't have it. Then ended up getting in, got to see her, cried my eyes out because I was away from my newborn for 4 days, which is, you know, feels like a lifetime when you're going through something like this. And so I get up there and just, you know, hold her, and still have no answers at this point yet. Like, we still just have an idea that, you know, it's Hirschsprung's. And so finally I get a nurse to come in, and she explains to me like what they're doing and how we're gonna determine that for sure that it is Hirschsprung's. So what they did was do a rectal biopsy.
So they basically like numbed the area and basically like scraped the inside of like her rectum.
Like got like a tissue sample of
Yeah,
her rectum.
Like 2 pieces to be sure that, to see if there was nerve cells that was in the ending of the intestine.
Yeah.
Which of course came back negative. Those nerve cells were not there.
So then that's what gave us the positive test that it was Hirschsprung's disease. The memory's making me kind of emotional.
I know, it's hard.
It's hard.
Because we were just in such a dark place.
Yeah, literally our whole world just like fell apart, and it's like why did this have to happen to my baby? This isn't how it's supposed to be. Like, why? Like, we were just supposed to go home and like start our lives and watch our baby grow, but we went through an entire different thing that we just never expected. So when we got in, my first day in the NICU with her, it was really hard. It's hard to see your baby hooked up to all these IVs and like wires, and then to hold her, it was like the worst thing possible, honestly. So they got to teach me how to do rectal irrigations. So we thought it'd be a little bit easier to explain how the irrigations were if we had the actual stuff to show you. So go ahead, babe.
So we would have to measure out 70 milliliters of 0.09% sodium chloride, which is basically just like sterile water. Then we would have to put this catheter
about 6 inches, so it was probably about this much, like going into her rectum.
And that's what they gave us. This was
so
like
yeah,
this
we
lubricating
put
stuff.
lube on like this entire thing, and then put a bunch, so obviously it would slide it easily.
Which would connect to this right here at the end of this little syringe right here.
And it goes like in this end.
Like that.
Yes.
So basically pushing all the saline up, and then once we would take this out, we would turn it down, and her poop would basically just drain out. Yeah.
So we had to do that every 8 hours, so 3 times a day, every single day. We would do it at, I think, depending on when he would work, so it would be like 4 or 5, between 4 and 5 a.m. And then we do it again at 12 o'clock, or it was like 1 o'clock, and then again at 8 o'clock right before bed. It's a really scary time, and always constantly being worried, like, is she okay? Like, always checking her belly, like, is she bloated? And always feeling her. And, you know, if she was crying, I'm like, okay, well, is she crying because she's hungry? Is she crying because, you know, her stomach is hurting her? Like, she needs to poop. It was just a really, really hard and difficult time to go through, and we had to do it for 3 months.
And it wasn't just poop either. Like, she couldn't fart either, so she was no gas escaping except for like burping or like the occasional. I mean, I think she pooped maybe once or twice. Like, very rarely would she poop like on her own in her diapers. Like,
yeah, so there was rare occasions where she would poop on her own, but like he said, rarely. Like, maybe a total of 6 or 7 times throughout like 3 months. She got the biopsy, I think, a couple of days after we were there. That's when they told us that she is going to need surgery. So the biopsy is what determined if she would need surgery or if it could be taken care of different. I want to say
it would like fix itself, basically.
Basically, yeah, but So she ended up needing surgery, and they had prepared us for that and told us, like, she is most likely going to need surgery. And one of the pediatric surgeons told me, he's like, I know it's Hirschsprung's. He's like, I don't need this biopsy to tell you that it's Hirschsprung's disease. I can tell by the x-rays and all of her symptoms, like, it's Hirschsprung's. And we had never heard of it before, so all of this was just new to us. Why she was in the NICU for so long is because they had to try to figure out, like, the schedule that worked for her to be able to tolerate her food, and then, like, if cleaning her out, like, 8 hours was enough time to clean her out. And they had always told us, if you feel like you need to do it sooner than 8 hours, then do it. If you feel like you need to do it more, or if you feel like she can handle it and you don't need to do it as many times, like, don't. But we have always stuck to the 8 hours because we didn't want to risk anything. I met the surgeon when she did the biopsy. Surgery that she needed to have is called a laparoscopic transanal pull-through.
So basically they go in through the anal rectum, then they go up like the lower intestine until they think that there's good tissue. They take a sample. They take the sample, they send it to the lab while she's on the table. It takes like, I think she said 30 minutes for the lab to get them.
15 minutes.
15 minutes for the lab to get back to them. She gets 2 samples, so she goes like one lower, and then she goes a little bit higher than that. Sends 2 samples to make sure she gets a good tissue. If this comes back good, she starts the surgery where she cuts the lower part out, and then goes like up here by your belly button, like same directions but on either side, and pulls down the good intestine down like through her belly button lower, and connects it down to the rectum where the nerve cells are good, and basically sews it together.
So she had 3 incisions, which is, like he showed you, on the left and the right side of her abdomen, and then right inside her belly button. It's napping now, they're ready to show you now, but we'll show you at the end of the video, like, how she's doing and, you know, recovered and whatnot.
But basically the surgery took around 2 hours, I would say.
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
So that was definitely very scary when we were waiting. Before the surgery was set, they obviously had to call me and let me know what time to be there, what time the surgery was going to be at, and then the recovery time. And they said we were going to be there for 5 days. After the 5th day, we get to come home, and then we have a follow-up appointment 1 week later, or was it 2 weeks?
It was 1 week.
1 week later. And she had told us that we might have to do rectal dilations, but it depends on how she recovers and whatnot. So we go to her first follow-up appointment, and everything is going good, amazing. She's pooping great. She's eating great. She did have to do the dilation, but
passed the dilation with flying colors.
Yeah.
She said it went in and out super quick, easy. No, like, she didn't have to force it at all, and no stretching.
So, and then her incisions were looking good. She's healing good. We had to see the surgeon again in 4 weeks, and just to, you know, make sure everything's still going good. She didn't have to dilate at all that time. She said everything is going good, and then she said to see her again in 3 months, because she just wants to make sure that everything is still going good and smooth sailing, and we haven't had any problems. So our baby girl is doing great.
We have a beautiful, healthy, happy baby, thank God. And
we kind of just wanted to share her story for, you know, people like us that didn't know anything about Hirschsprung's and were scared of it.
Yeah, because there's not too much information out there about it. There's not that many people who I feel like open up about it, because it's very, very hard. It's just, you know, not only do you have postpartum depression, but now you have, like, why does she have to go through this, you know, and just, like, general, like, I wish I could take it away and go through it myself, you know, like, as any parent would understand.
I hope this video can help others who are going through this with their child, and know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, there's no better way to say that, because it was dark for a very long time.
You're going to keep hearing it from all the nurses, all your doctors. Everyone's going to keep telling you the same thing, and it's just going to sound like a bunch of BS, but it's hard, but you have to focus on that. You have to be positive about it and really just see the big picture, because 5 years, 10 years down the line, they're never going to know this happened. they're not going to remember the pain.
We will be back when she wakes up from her nap to show you how well she's doing, how healthy she looks, show you her incisions and how well they have healed. So crazy that her surgery was literally 2 months ago. 2 months ago tomorrow. And she's thriving. Say hi! This is Miss Araya. And if you got this far to the end of the video, I wanted to show you guys how healthy your baby girl is and how she looks. I wanted to show you guys her incisions really quick. So she got one, where is it? Right here. So it's like basically like already almost gone. And then her other one is right here. And it looks really good. And then the other one is in her belly button, which you can't even tell at all. She is doing amazing. How baby. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you are going through your child having Hirschsprung's disease, and if you have any questions, all of our social medias will be linked down below. So please feel free to message us. If you have any questions or if you just want support, because it's a very hard thing to go through. So yeah, just wanted to introduce you to Miss Araya. Say hi, Babesh. Say hi. But yeah, so hopefully this video was informational for you guys. We will be back with more videos. And yeah, thank you for listening to our daughter's story and our story of Hirschsprung's disease. Thanks for watching.